Hi everyone, welcome to another segment of Bella TV. My name is Jennifer, I am Bella's publisher, and I am joined today by a special guest who I'm sure most of you already recognize, Patricia Velasquez. Patricia, welcome to Bella TV. Thank you for being here.
No, thank you, Jennifer, for giving me the opportunity to come and talk to you, and also you who you're watching.
Of course. So we're very excited to have you. Lots of things going on in your life right now. Obviously, model, actress, mom, activist. I don't know how you juggle all of it. So let's start from the beginning. Before we start talking about the foundation, which is the ultimate reason why we're here and the amazing work that you're doing in Venezuela, let's take it back to the beginning. How did you get started in modeling and acting?
Wow, now we're really going way back. When I was 17, I just turned 18 years old, I was chosen to be the model basically from Venezuela to go and work in Milan. And the situation at home wasn't very good financially. Like we had no water, we lived in the 15th floor, the elevators never worked, so we had to, not never, but almost never. So we had to carry the buckets of water upstairs. And so even though I was becoming an engineer and I was also a dancer, when the opportunity presented itself for me to go and work as a model, I told my mom, I said, Mom, you got to let me go, because if I send $30 a month, that's going to pay water for the whole building.
Wow.
And so my mom was used for me to travel because of the dance company. If it would have been any of my sisters, she probably would have not let them go. And that's how the whole journey started. It was never an overnight success story per se. It's almost like if there's a journey to walk every single step of the way, I had to.
You took every step.
It was amazing because it gave me a really long, wonderful career where I appreciate every single one of the accomplishments. And so I started in Milan, then I moved to Spain, then I went to Japan, then I moved to France, to Paris, and that's where I started working with Ford models. Katie Ford, they opened Ford in Paris, and that's really kind of where everything started. I was not only taken by Ford, but Karl Lagerfeld gave me an opportunity, and then from then on just went up the hill, like in a really, really wonderful journey. And then I ended up in New York. I was in New York for over 15 years. And towards the end of, kind of not the end of my career, it's not really the end, but towards the latter part of my career, I was asked to be in this French film. And because I had grown up in the dance theater and I had so much respect for acting, I said no. And my agents in Paris, they said, well, give it a chance. I mean, go meet with the director. And so I met with Francis Weber, and they were shooting this really big film called Les Jaguars. It was the biggest film ever made in France until then. And they offered me the part. So I thought, okay, because it was about an indigenous community, which is, I am indigenous myself, and that just touches a soft spot that I said, well, I have to do it then. And I ended up working with Jean Reno and completely falling in love with the experience of acting and the craft of acting. So when I came back, I had studied a little bit before, a few months before, to prepare for this film, but I really just digged in fully. And that was the beginning of my acting career up until now. So I can't complain. This is a different journey for sure.
And you touched on a few things in there, but I just want to pick them out a little. So
Sure.
Karl Lagerfeld, you
Yes.
were one of the first models that Karl Lagerfeld ever shot. That's correct, right?
I shot his first cover.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Like, these aren't small modeling gigs. This is a big deal.
Yes. I think it might have been the cover for Air France Madame. I'm not sure what cover it was, but yeah, it was his first cover. And that was a really, really big deal.
Yeah.
And I mean, really the whole journey with Karl, I'm always going to think of him as an angel, because he really just, between Karl Lagerfeld, I would say Paolo Roversi as a photographer, and designers in the US like Issa Mizrahi, even Carolina Herrera, they were always incredibly supportive of my career. Didn't matter what I was going through. If I gained weight, didn't gain weight, they were always very, very giving to me.
Well, you were doing something right because you were working with names like Victoria's Secret and huge
Yeah.
modeling gigs, and not to mention your acting career, which I mean, The Mummy, one of the biggest movie franchises. I loved you in that movie.
Thank you.
More recently, The Case of La Lorna. So, I mean,
Because,
you're still acting. You're still doing this. I mean, this is huge.
well, I mean, I loved all my years of model because I think the fact that I grew up as a dancer, so the way I experienced the work of shooting photographs was always very creative, and I think that's a reason why I became successful as a model, because photographers really enjoyed working with me. So, but then once I became an actress, modeling became also something that I only did for pleasure when the photo shoot or something important. So I, you know, acting is what I do, is what I've done for many years, and I'm just very, very grateful to be able to make a living from, you know. And this is what I say to my daughter all the time: say, you want this, you want that, that's fine, but just make sure it becomes something that you get as a consequence of you doing what you love. Never just settle for something because it's going to pay you, or and just really, really fight for what you love. And that's what I love acting. So this is what I do.
That's beautiful. And speaking about that, one of the things that we talk about at Bella a lot is the beauty of giving back. And that's something that you are huge in. And we're going to start talking about your foundation, the Wayuu Taya Foundation.
Wow, you pronounced it
I
amazing.
said it
That's
correctly. Okay,
it.
great.
Yes. Yes.
I have to, because it's you guys have a great mission. Why don't you first start telling us about how this came about and how you
Sure.
got started in this?
So I started the Wayuu Taya Foundation 19 years ago in New York, and in that during that time, my uncle passed, and he said to my mom, "Don't forget about the Wayuu." My mom is Wayuu Indian, therefore I'm Wayuu Indian, because you. So I'm 100% Wayuu because it goes through motherhood, and when I started finding out, in that during that time, one kid was dying a day through UNICEF. It was the second poorest place in Latin America. So we started with a little preschool. I'm sure I'm going to tell you a little bit about this because I think you'll love it. I thought, if I can start with a little preschool, that will guarantee that the kids will be getting 2 meals a day. So both of my parents are educators, so this is how I believe that we should do this, through introducing the kids to education. So I had this idea to do this little event in New York. So I went to Iman first, and I sat down with Iman. I remember the Mercer kitchen, and Iman goes, "What can I do for you?"
Oh,
And I said, "Well, I'm planning this." I said, and so I told her the story, and then she says, "I will host your event." And that's how. And then it went on from then from there, year after year after year. And then, other people like Carolina Herrera, Donna Karen. Oh, so many people have the fashion industry. Carl, Isaac Mizrahi, oh, so many, Christy Brinkley, Padma was with us every year.
wow.
So many people from the fashion world have been. Narciso Rodriguez, big supporters of the foundation every year. So the foundation started growing. Nowadays, we take care directly of 5 schools. That's 3,500 kids. But given the political situation, for those of you who don't know, there's a big humanitarian crisis in Colombia and in Venezuela, in the border between Colombia and Venezuela. But it's really from Venezuela that is more than 5 million people have left the country in Venezuela, and this has been the worst the biggest humanitarian crisis that we've had in the Western Hemisphere. So most of the people that are leaving Venezuela are going to the Colombian side, and this is where Wayuu Taya operates. As a result of this massive amount of people that are leaving the country, we've started this humanitarian aid program with different organizations like Acceso, like 8 Live, so many, CORE, There've been some World Central Kitchen with Jose Andres.
Mhm.
There's been such a Justra Foundation. So we are now feeding 12,000 people a day. That is 29 different schools, 16 different communities, and 8 institutions, including 3 elderly centers. Because of COVID, the borders are closed. And even though we are an essential foundation and we have our permits, the borders are just closed. So forget about having any access to healthcare, any access to medical attention, even medicine itself, even though Direct Relief has been a big supporter of us as well. So we started this program, 2 programs we started. The main one, it's kind of like an Ensure, because the malnutrition levels are gigantic. So we are giving the kids these drinks that are a little bit like an Ensure, and that keeps them going every day. But most importantly, and or equally important, we're giving them mask, this Wayuu Taya mask. So we started this program where if you buy any item from the Wayuu Taya Foundation, which you can see in our website, by buying maybe a mask, we will be providing a mask to a child in need. We already sent hundreds of masks, but we need thousands more. So it's almost like become a humanitarian, help save yourself by also providing a mask to someone else that might help them save their lives. And it's amazing how these kids in the border between Venezuela and Colombia, because we know that there is such a little access to food, no access to medical attention, and nobody wants to be taken away, because if you get COVID there, they'll just take you away and then you might never see your family again. People are terrified because we don't have the medical attention, and no one says anything. The best thing to do is to wear a mask. And all the kids are wearing masks, whatever they can put in their face, in their parents as well. So if you want to become a humanitarian, get a mask. And by that, you will be helping also to save someone else's life. And in this case, it will be a kid through the Wayuu Taya Foundation.
Wow. That reminds me of one of the first things I had heard when, the foundation or the pandemic had started. It was, these kids who can't go to school now because schools are shut down. They're literally losing their only source to have a meal that day.
Yes.
I mean, that's devastating to think that not only are they now missing out on their education, but they're not eating.
They're not eating. So this is something that we had to shift around, because unfortunately we lost our doctor due to COVID, and I have someone else on the team also with COVID. We said, okay, how can we provide them with at least the essentials, which means let's give them an Ensure, let's give them a nutritional drink that will keep them going for the day. It's almost like all this year that we have been giving the vegetables, because the situation there is desperate. There's just very little access to food. It's almost like it's all gone. I don't like to think that way, because maybe it would have gone already if we would have not provided the food. So now what the team is doing, we have a team of over 100 volunteers, is that they provide the drinks to the leaders of the communities. And most of the time, kids are still coming and they walk 5 kilometers to the school just to get their little drink. But this is, the schools have become kind of like what churches used to be, the center of the communities. And we are still providing, might not be food, but we are providing the nutritional drinks.
That's amazing. So not only though the nutrition, the food, the drinks, but masks too, which ultimately is saving their lives.
Yes, I mean, definitely we can't 100% say that it will save your life, but certainly it will help save your life. And people, kids, even the children, they all take it very seriously.
Yes.
And really we need all the help that we can by getting as many masks as possible so we can send them there. And even I started a little store as well that you can access through my website, where you can buy sweaters or t-shirts, and also masks inspired in some of the characters that I've done. Like there's one that says, "My body's not your temple," as in reference to
I'm getting that one.
in reference to COVID, but it's also in reference to being feminine and being strong, and just you make decisions for yourself, and your temple can be anything, that you want to think about, your life, your strength. So my body's not your temple. And I'm also, if anybody buys anything from the store, I'm also providing masks to the children. It says one mask, but really it's a lot more because I'm kind of just sending everything to Wayuu Taya so we can acquire as many masks as possible.
That's amazing. So you mentioned the store. For people that want to get involved, whether it's to spread the word or to help by donating or buying masks or getting food to these kids, please let us know website links, where they can go, where they can get more information, how they can help.
Thank you so much. It's very simple. If you go to the Wayuu Taya Foundation, and that is WAYUUTAYA.org, you'll see a list of things, of ways how you can get involved. Some people, like we have people in Australia, for example, that they might not want to get a mask, but they want to donate or help with the mask campaign. There is a crowd fund where you can just donate. If you want to just make also a donation to Wayuu Taya, there is also an option for that. You can text, you can swipe, you can even donate money by opening, adding the plugin to your browser. So it's very simple. It's all on the website, but really it's whatever speaks to your heart. And overall, I think the most important thing is please take care of yourself. And I think when I see how we are here in the United States, and I'm sure this interview is going to be seen all over the world because it always happens, but for us here in the United States, we have to be so grateful because our people can say whatever about the US, but we are such a good people, and we might be acting out right now, and many people are not wanting to wear masks and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, this is the one country where people care the most about other people. Just when I think of Wayuu Taya, for example, how many people have been helped throughout the years through donors here in the US that are helping children in the border between Venezuela and Colombia that they might never even meet. And that is a true conscious of giving, of wanting to help somebody else. So I am extremely grateful. And we should really just, when we wake up, just say 3 things that you're thankful for. And when you go to bed, say 3 things you're thankful for and don't repeat them the day after. And trust me, it will shift your brain in a way that it will make you feel grateful and not just so focused on the negative things, because we're being bombarded by so many things right now.
No, that's beautiful. And I think sometimes, especially being here, we forget or we don't realize how much other countries are suffering, especially these children. So the work that you're doing is amazing. And we do all have plenty to be grateful for. So any way that we can help and be a part of the foundation and support you, we're very excited about, and definitely spreading the word. So thank you so much for sharing this message and for all the amazing work that you're doing. I know you're putting a huge dent in the hunger, and that's beautiful.
No, thank you. Thank you. And I'll make sure to keep spreading the word. And I love Bella. So it means a lot to me that you guys support my work.
Great. Thank you so much, Patricia Velasquez. Make sure everyone visit the foundation, follow on social, read more, get informed, and give back and support. Thank you so much, Patricia.
Thank you.